Kondosan.
Cinderella had married the prince and was very happy. But there was one thing that upset her. She constantly made mistakes because she didn't know the palace's rules.
Why are the people around me looking at me weirdly?
Her maid said her clothes were not suitable for the palace and that she should wear clothes worthy of a princess.
That's why everybody was looking and laughing at me. Now I understand.
Among those who laughed at Cinderella were the evil sorceress Rosa and her daughter Sarah. Since Rosa cast spells, everyone called her Witch Rosa.
She became a princess, but she doesn't know how to dress in the palace.
I was supposed to marry the prince. It was my right to be a princess.
That can still happen. Trust your mother. Cinderella will regret being a princess. Eventually, the king and the prince will realise that she cannot be a princess, and this marriage will end.
Cinderella didn't know the rules, so she made mistakes again while having dinner. She dipped bread in her soup and slurped it.
Yummy! How tasty it is!
When she couldn't cut the meat on her plate with a knife, Sarah, sitting next to her, gave her advice.
You can eat the meat with your hand. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Cinderella believed Sarah and took the meat with her hands and ate it. But the people at the table laughed at her.
How disgusting! It's a shame that a princess doesn't have table manners.
I'm sorry. I won't make these mistakes again.
One day, while sitting in the garden of the palace, she heard a voice next to her.
Why are you so unhappy, princess?
Who are you? Where did you come from?
I'm Pofu. I have lived in this palace for many years. I know everything there is to know about the palace.
Oh yeah? Maybe you can help me.
What do you want me to help you with?
I still don't know the customs of the palace. Sarah also tricked me so that I made more mistakes. What should I do?
That is easy. You must go to princess school.
Princess school? That's an excellent idea. Thank you very much, Pofu. You're a darling.
Thus, it was decided that Cinderella would go to princess school.
Cinderella is going to attend princess school.
That girl won't do well at school.
But what can we do?
You will go to that school too, and you will do what I say.
On the first day of school, students would be given a walking lesson. Cinderella was surprised to see Sarah in the classroom.
Oh, Sarah? Why are you here?
As a lady of society, I have to improve myself. Remember, there will be an exam on how to carry yourself at the end of the lesson. Good luck!
Cinderella shall not pass this exam. Take this powder and pour it on the clothes she will be wearing.
What is this powder?
Ha ha ha! Itching powder! Ha ha ha! Don't show it to anyone.
Oh no, they're plotting against Cinderella, not under my watch.
A dazzling, sparkling princess dress was prepared for Cinderella. Sarah sneaked into the room and dusted the powder on Cinderella's dress.
Oh no, I have to do something right now.
Finally, it was time for the exam, and Cinderella walked with the grace of a princess in her shimmering gown.
Why isn't this girl itching? Didn't you sprinkle the powder?
I did, but I don't understand either.
When it was Sarah's turn, she couldn't walk properly because she was itching and scratching. So she didn't pass the exam.
How can that be? Impossible!
Pofu, what are you doing here?
I came to watch you. Congratulations, you walked so beautifully. You were born a princess.
What happened to Sarah? She was scratching and couldn't walk. I feel bad for her.
Don't be sad. Sarah dusted itching powder on your gown, but I cleaned the powder and sprinkled it on her clothes. She got the punishment she deserved.
Now I understand why she came to school. She wanted me to fail.
Yes, you should watch out for them.
The next exam would be table etiquette. The princess of the neighbouring country will also attend and be the guest of honour at dinner.
This time, don't make any mistakes, you clumsy girl. Cinderella must not pass this exam.
So what should I do?
Just pour this liquid on her soup.
They're scheming something again. They never give up.
Finally, it was time for the banquet. Everyone took their place at the table. Cinderella welcomed the guest princess.
Welcome, Princess. It's an honor to host you at our school.
They all sat at the table and started eating their meal. Sarah took the small bottle out of her pocket and poured it into Cinderella's soup without anyone noticing.
Oh no, I must warn Cinderella.
Oh, this is Pofu. Is she pointing at me?
Cinderella understood what Pufu was trying to say, and she replaced her soup with Sarah's without anyone noticing.
No, don't! Stop! Don't drink! Oh no!
At the end of the day, Cinderella successfully passed the exam and received the etiquette certificate.
I couldn't have done it without you, Pofu. Thank you so much.
I'll always be by your side, my princess.
Kondosan.
On a beautiful spring morning, Stylish Goat was sitting on the armchair by the window, flipping the pages of a magazine. Suddenly, she spotted a very beautiful gazelle in the magazine. It was so mesmerising that Stylish couldn't take her eyes off it.
Wow! What a magnificent creature! Look at the shiny fur and beautiful eyes. It's so elegant. I wish I could be like that too.
The wolf was passing by, close to Stylish's window, and overheard her.
Do you want to be a gazelle?
Hi there. I was looking at this magazine and saw this gazelle. Take a look at it. Isn't it breathtaking? I wish I could be a gazelle.
What's so beautiful about gazelles?
Everything? What's not to like? Look at their fur. They're dazzling. Their graceful movements are so elegant, as if they're dancing instead of walking. I wish I could be a gazelle. I would do anything to be one.
Would you really do anything?
Yes, of course I'll do it willingly and happily.
You'd sacrifice everything for real? Oh, I just remember that. I have an urgent job to take care of. Excuse me, but I have to go now.
The wolf walks away, plotting something.
What wonderful weather! I can't stay inside the house when it's marvelous outside. I have to leave right away. Oh, what is that?
Stylish notices an advertising billboard that she has never seen before on the farm.
Do you want to change yourself? You can't miss such an opportunity. With only 10 eggs and 10 lessons, you can look like a gazelle.
Stylish couldn't believe what she had just read. She felt confused yet overjoyed. She ran to the chicken coop and bought 10 eggs and then headed to the address on the ad.
Is anybody there?
Oh, welcome, little goat. How can I help you? Did you need anything?
Yes. Is it true what's written on that billboard? Can you really turn something into something else?
Oh, of course. That's my job.
Wow. Then please turn me into a beautiful gazelle.
Let me take a look at you. You're a bit short. You have pointy horns and huge eyes. But okay, I can turn you into a gazelle.
For real?
Sure. Only for 10 eggs.
I have the eggs, but I'll give them to you after the lessons are finished.
Then let me give you an intensive course. First lesson, the gazelle walk. Shall we start now?
Really? Now? Okay, let's start at once.
Stylish put the eggs under a tree and stood opposite the wolf. She wanted to be a gazelle so badly that she did everything the wolf asked her to do.
Now, we'll be walking with the book on top of our head. No. You're not doing it right. All right then, let's skip this and practice jumping. Oh, you call that jumping? Come on, jump! Jump like an elegant gazelle. climbing lesson. You'll be both elegant and fast at the same time. Smile! Yes! Continue 5 laps of this.
Oh, hello, Stylish. Are you playing a game?
Hello. No, I'm taking classes on how to be a gazelle.
Why do you want to be a gazelle?
Look at yourself and me. I wish I could be like you.
You know, Stylish, I always wanted to be a beautiful goat like you.
Is that so? I can make your wish come true with 10 eggs.
Really? I can't believe that. Do you think I'm beautiful?
Of course you are. You're very beautiful.
But gazelles are prettier.
In my opinion, goats are.
Yes, yes, Stylish. Gazelles are prettier. Yes, Gazelle. Goats are prettier. Oh, X.
No, gazelle, stop. We are very beautiful the way we are. Let's get some ice cream and forget about all this nonsense. Give me back my eggs. I changed my mind.
Don't go. Stop. If you want, I can turn you into an eagle and you into a crocodile. Stop. The eggs are gone. I don't like gazelles or goats.
KONDOSAN.
Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, in a faraway land, there lived a king. This king had 12 daughters. All his daughters were incredibly beautiful. The king did not allow them to leave the palace. They were only allowed to walk around the palace gardens. While the king and his daughters carried on with their lives, one morning as his daughters sat at the table for breakfast, he noticed that their shoes were worn out. Although the king was very confused by this, he ordered his servants to buy new shoes for all his 12 daughters. Ever since that day, every morning at breakfast, the king noticed that his daughters' shoes were worn and dirty. The king couldn't put his finger on what was going on. Despite their doors being locked at night, the mystery of the worn-out shoes continued. To solve this, the king came up with a very clever plan.
Soldiers, spread the news across the country. Whoever solves this problem will marry one of my daughters and become king when I die. These young men only have 3 days to find out why my daughter's shoes are worn out every morning.
However, if they can't figure it out, they will be thrown in the dungeon.
The soldiers spread the news across the entire country. Many young men were turning up at the palace gates to solve this mystery. Yet, all of them were falling asleep outside the daughter's room and were being thrown into the dungeon. There was a kind, handsome young man who lived in a village near the palace. He had always liked the king's youngest daughter. The young man had no family except for his grandmother. So they lived together. One day, his grandmother came up with an idea.
Why don't you try your chance at solving this mystery? You always said that you liked the king's youngest daughter.
Until now, hundreds have gone to the palace to try their chance. None of them have succeeded. It will be impossible for me too. Plus, we're very poor. The king will never give his daughter in marriage to me. You must be mad, Grandma.
Nonsense. You do what I say. You will succeed. I'm giving you a magical cloak that belonged to your father.
Oh.
When you wear this, you will become invisible. And one more thing, do not eat or drink anything from the palace. Good luck, my son.
Although the young man was incredibly amazed by the invisible cloak, he immediately set off to the palace to try his chance. At night, the oldest daughter popped a sleeping pill into a glass of water, left the room, and handed the glass to the young man waiting by the door. "It's hot. You must be thirsty. Here, if you like, I can bring you another glass."
Thank you. Yes, I was incredibly thirsty.
The thirsty young man drank the water and slept all the way till morning. The next day, while waiting, another girl brought a glass of lemonade. Unable to resist, the young man drank this too. He went straight to the room assigned to him and snored the night away. When he woke in the morning, he said,
How stupid I am. How could I believe these girls? My grandma had warned me about not eating or drinking anything. Tonight is my last night. I must succeed.
He went in front of the door again. This time one of the girls wanted to trick him with juice. The young man pretended to drink the juice while the girl watched, but the minute she turned around and entered her room, he poured it into a plant pot. He pretended to sleep, lying next to the plant and snoring. "Go and take a look. Has the boy outside fallen asleep?" One of the girls peeked through the door and checked the young man.
Can't you hear? He's snoring away. It's okay. We are free now.
At midnight, when the young man wore the cloak, he became invisible. He slowly entered the girls' room. The girls were wearing beautiful dresses. They had brushed their hair and were all made up. There was a large mirror in their room. They all stood in front of it. The oldest daughter touched the mirror and blew a kiss. The mirror immediately slid to the side and a door with stairs appeared, leading down to a chamber. The young man watched in shock as the girls, one by one, went down the stairs. Of course, he followed them right away. As he went down the stairs, he accidentally tripped on something, fell, and held on tight to the skirt of one of the princesses in front of him.
Oh, what is that? Someone's pulling on my skirt. There's no one here. You must be imagining things.
They went down hundreds of stairs.
Whoa.
Finally, they arrived in a forest. The leaves in the forest were gold, the branches were silver, and the top of the trees were filled with diamonds. As the young man watched in awe, he also took one of each item to keep. He wanted evidence upon his return. They walked and walked down a very long path through the forest. At the end of the road, a lake appeared before them. There were exactly 12 boats waiting for the princesses. While each one of them climbed on the boats, young oarsmen were helping them get in. Finally, the young man jumped into the last boat.
Gosh, this boat is a little heavier than usual today. It's like it's carrying 3 people. Have you gained weight, Princess?
What? A palace decorated with magnificent lights appeared on the opposite shore of the lake. Music could be heard from everywhere. They all entered this palace and began to dance like crazy with their companions. All the glasses in the palace were made of crystal, and all cutlery made of silver. As the young man watched this fantastic event, he wanted to eat a piece of cake and drink some water. He wasn't noticed while he was eating a piece of cake from a golden plate, but was caught while drinking water from the crystal glass.
Oh wow, I can't believe it. Look there, the glass is levitating. It's like someone is drinking water.
Upon hearing these screams, the young man dropped the glass and it shattered into a million pieces.
You're imagining things. We are really tired of dancing. You must have bumped into the glass. Come on, it's almost morning. Let's go back to the palace.
But...
It was time for the girls to return to the palace. The oldest daughter gathered all her sisters. They returned to the palace the same way they came in, with the young man following them at all times. The young man was thrilled to have solved the mystery of the shoes. He immediately appeared before the king.
Your Majesty, I respectfully salute you, Your Highness. I have solved the mystery of why your daughter's shoes are worn out after just one day. Every day, your daughters go to a magical forest, head to a palace, and dance the night away. This is why their shoes are worn out.
The king was shocked at this news and didn't want to believe what he heard.
Today was your last day. How could I know that you're not lying to me in order not to get thrown in the dungeon?
Sir, I have plenty of evidence. A silver tree branch, a gold leaf, a fruit made of diamonds, and a crystal glass.
The king was surprised at what he saw, but was also pleased that the mystery was finally solved. He followed the young man down the path, went to all the places they had been, and saw with his own eyes that the young man was telling the truth.
Yes, you were right. Tell me, which of my daughters do you want to marry?
Your Majesty, if she also accepts, I would like to marry your youngest daughter. And of course, if you see fit.
The young man and the young princess lived happily ever after. The young man also had his grandmother brought to the palace, since he owed her everything. Even though the other girls weren't so pleased with what had happened, they promised that they would never go anywhere again without permission.
Kondosan.
Once upon a time, in a very beautiful country, there lived a kind king and queen that everyone loved. Their only wish was to have a daughter. One day, their wish came true, and their daughter came into the world. They organized a feast to celebrate the event. All the kings and queens of other kingdoms, all the townspeople, and the 12 fairies of the country were invited. As part of the celebration, everyone presented their gift to the newborn princess. When it was the fairies' turn, each of them made a wish using their magical wands. There were exactly 12 fairies.
May life bring you everlasting happiness.
Let your beauty be spoken of all across the lands.
Let this princess be a very clever girl.
Let her always be generous to our people.
Suddenly, the entire hall started to shake. As everyone watched in awe, there was a high-pitched sound. The wicked fairy was the 13th fairy. They especially hadn't invited her to the party. Furious, the wicked fairy approached the crib and pushed aside the 12th good fairy that still hadn't made her wish.
So, I'm the only one that wasn't invited, I see. Well, even if I wasn't invited, I also have a wonderful gift for the princess. On her 16th birthday, the princess will prick her finger on a needle and die.
Staring at the wicked fairy, the king and queen begged the good fairy to do something.
Please, do whatever it takes to break this curse, good fairy.
Unfortunately, my queen, I cannot remove the curse that the wicked fairy has cast, but I can at least lighten it. When the princess pricks her finger with the needle, she won't die. She will sleep for 100 years. She will only be awakened with the kiss of a prince. That's all I can do.
king immediately prohibited the use of needles and had them removed from his kingdom. He ordered his guards to watch over the princess until she grew up. The good fairy's wishes had come true. The princess turned out to be a beautiful, well-mannered young girl. In the palace, she could only wander around the garden with the fairies. Her father always watched over her. On the day of her 16th birthday, the princess was locked up in a room to stop the curse from happening. Everyone was very anxious. If nothing happened until sunset, the curse would be lifted. The princess was bored and wanted to open the window to catch some fresh air. Outside, the weather was beautiful. As she opened the window, she saw a raven with a little box in its beak. The bird placed the box on the windowsill and flew away. It was such a beautifully decorated box that the princess couldn't resist her curiosity. She opened the box and saw a glowing diamond ring. She thought it was a birthday gift from the fairies, so she put it on her finger. But a little needle was hidden underneath the diamond. So, when the needle pricked her, the princess fell into her 100-year slumber. The bird that had brought the box to the princess was the raven of the wicked fairy. When they couldn't hear any sound from the princess's room for some time, the king became anxious and went to check on her.
My girl, you haven't said anything. Open the doors so I can see you. Be patient. There's only 2 hours left until sundown and the curse will be broken.
The king couldn't get a reply, so he unlocked the door and entered the room. To his surprise, he found his daughter lying on the floor.
My queen! Guards! Run! My princess has fallen asleep! It's a disaster! A disaster!
When they saw the ring on the princess's finger, the upset king and queen immediately realized what had happened. The wicked fairy had tricked the princess into pricking her own finger, fulfilling the curse.
Good fairy, do something, please. Either awake her or let us all sleep and awake with her. We can start our lives again when she wakes up in 100 years. How can we live without her?
To cast this spell, we have only till sunset. We have little time, but I'll do it. First, let's get the princess into a beautiful bed.
They immediately carried her to her room. They laid her in a bed covered with flowers in her most beautiful gown. The king and queen sat in their thrones. The servants waited where they stood. The birds, cats, and dogs. Everyone was ready. And the good fairy cast her most powerful spell yet.
Let everyone in the palace fall asleep along with the princess and awake with her.
With a wave of her hand, everyone in the palace fell asleep. The palace was to be known as the Palace of Sleeping Beauty from then on. As years passed, the palace was covered with thorns and vines. No one could enter anymore. Many years passed. One day, as the prince was wandering around with his soldiers, he noticed the palace covered in vines.
There it is. This must be Sleeping Beauty's castle, the one my mom always told me about when I was younger. Look, it is completely covered with vines.
The king and queen in their thrones and the people of the palace all sleeping in some place. They were all lying still. He started wandering through all the rooms of the palace, trying to find the princess.
I'm going to find you, beautiful princess. I'll save you. I will lift the curse.
The prince was frantic, running around trying to find the princess's room. Finally, he came across a magnificent door in the tower. He opened it slowly and found the incredibly beautiful princess asleep on a bed of flowers.
My goodness, how beautiful she is. It's as if she fell asleep yesterday. Her flowers still smell wonderful.
The prince couldn't bear to see the princess sleeping like an angel, so he gave her a kiss on the cheek. At that moment, the princess woke up. When she saw the handsome prince standing before her, she asked,
What happened? Am I still dreaming?
No, my princess, you aren't dreaming any longer. The curse has been broken. Please, give me your hand. Let me help you get up from this bed.
The princess gave her hand to the prince and got up. When the curse was broken, everyone woke up from their sleep. The king, queen, servants, cats, dogs, and flowers in the garden all came to life again. There was nothing left of the vines and thorns. The king and queen ran to their daughter's room in excitement.
Good heavens, what a beautiful day! I'm so happy. My daughter and the whole palace have awoken from their sleep.
They hugged joyfully. The prince promptly kneeled before the king.
My king, I would like to marry your daughter. With your permission, may I ask for her hand in marriage?
My dear prince, we are so very happy. I would be honored if you were my groom.
My dear princess, I've waited for this moment my whole life. Will you marry me?
Yes! You are the prince I have seen in my dreams.
They invited all the fairies and got married with a magnificent wedding. They lived happily ever after. And what happened to the wicked fairy? After she found out what was going to happen to her, she escaped to a faraway land.